Welcome. Would you like to introduce your name, year, course, and university?
Yep. So my name is Nathan Goddard. I'm final year or just finished my final year at Bournemouth University.
Can
And
you
I
tell
do,
us? Oh,
oops, sorry.
carry on, carry on.
And I do product design.
Can you tell us your hometown?
So I live in Gloucestershire, so it's quite a way away from here, but just far enough that parents won't come visit me every weekend.
Could you remind us of the course you're currently studying?
Pardon?
Could you remind us of the course you're currently studying?
So I do product design, and I've taken the Bachelor of Arts.
Why did you choose your course?
So I chose my course because I really like the creative aspects behind it, especially that it's very hands-on. Um, so it's not just designing the products, it's also making them by hand. Um, and it just allows a lot of creative freedom that's informed by research and like real world science. So we sort of shotgun all aspects of the courses pretty much, just so we learn everything pretty much so we can apply it to our own products.
You said you're now in your third year.
Yeah.
What have you thought of your course?
So my course, final year is definitely ramped up. And I think the same can be said for most courses. Um, but first and second year were just they taught us everything we need to know pretty much. And the great thing about this course specifically at this uni is they go way more in depth into the areas you wouldn't even think about. So we learned psychology, we learned maths and physics, like all sorts. Um, so I think first and second year really set you up for final year. Um, but you definitely just get a wiggle on for final year. But the whole course in general is best way I can describe it. Good fun, stressful but fun.
Did you take a placement year?
So for placement years, we were offered the year at the end of our second year, but we had to get a confirmed place by a certain date. And I wasn't able to do that, but I still ended up deferring the year anyway because I still wanted to find work. And I would say that is definitely crucial, especially some courses, to get a placement year or at the very least get a year out so you can gather your thoughts together and prepare yourself for your final year because it's definitely a big jump from your second year. And just getting in that right headspace is really, really useful.
Did you go to sixth form or college?
I went to sixth form um, back in my hometown.
What do you think the best A levels slash subjects are for your course?
So because my course is very creative, design especially. So if you have any sort of DT or materials, any sort of subject like that, depending on what your um,
College
college
offers.
offers. Yep. Um, but on the side, I would say maybe some sort of arts. So art and design, or I wouldn't say so much photography, but that kind of area.
Creative.
Yeah, creative. Um, but if you also have any form of background that's quite technical or mathematic, that's also can be quite useful because the great thing about design is it lends itself to anything pretty much. So just make sure you pick subject as well on the side that you're passionate in because that passion also translates to other areas.
Okay. Can you remind us of the university you're currently studying at?
So I'm studying at Bournemouth University.
If we go into the best and worst things about studying at Bournemouth University, starting off with the worst.
So I would say the worst things at Bournemouth University. It's a hard pick actually. Um, but one thing I found, especially, this may be generic for all universities, but especially at Bournemouth, is obviously as the years progress, it can almost feel a bit clicky in some places. Um, so if you're coming in later in the year, it might be a little bit harder to fit in. Um,
Oh, so by clicky, you mean that people have their groups?
yeah, exactly. Like people sort of slowly gravitate more and more towards each other, And then it can be a bit intimidating if you come in a bit later, because everyone knows each other already, like they have their friends, that sort of thing. Um, it's not too much of an issue, but I've coming in later, I could see how it could be quite intimidating.
And the best things about studying at Bournemouth University?
Well, funny enough, on the contrary, one of the best things is the community, and like Subu especially, because it's so helpful, and everything you need is essentially just there. And especially if you're thinking of doing a few overnighters as well, the campus is just always open. And you can come in whenever you want, use facilities. The teaching staff as well, especially for my course, are very just friendly, and like you could chat to them whenever. They become more like friends than lecturers, to be honest. And the campus as well is just absolutely gorgeous. Like when I just came here, I just knew this was the one I wanted to go to, you know?
Hey, if we're now going to living and accommodation,
Yeah.
where did you live in your first year?
So in my first year, I lived on campus in the student village.
What was it like living at Student Village?
So the student village is very convenient. I could easily wake up 5 minutes before a 9 a.m. lecture and still make it on time. But also, I think personally for me, I love the student village because it was a sense of like owning a house before having to do all of the paperwork and lead tenants and all of that. So you learn what it's like to live with people in a house. So I never really had the halls experience, but it's
And
definitely fun.
in your second year?
So second and third year, I lived in external housing, so housing I found myself. Second year, I lived in a house that was right in front of the uni, so it's pretty much similar to Student Village. And in my third year, so where I'm living now, is in Winton.
Okay. And what was it like going from Student Village to a house?
So I went into my second year house with the same people that I lived with in my first year. So it's a fairly smooth move. And again, like it was just sort of moving into another house, really. It was what's the word for it? It was not too much hassle.
Hassle.
Yeah, and to like get back into living in a house again, didn't really have to do that because we'd all done it before.
Okay.
So it's fairly new.
Straightforward.
Yeah.
If we now go into the area, what do you think of the university campus?
So the campus itself, again, absolutely gorgeous. When I came for my interview, there was just this general warmth, I guess, around the campus, and like you could certainly feel it compared to other unis, in my opinion. But also everything you need is on the campus, essentially. Like there's a building specialized for pretty much every course. But also Subu, especially, as I said before. But the Subu building is a nice central hub for everything as well. So you could just go in there to chill, or IT rooms, or any resources, anything like that. It's all just there. It's very open. And there's plenty of coffee shops as well, which is very needed.
Now, if we go to the Bournemouth area, what is it like living in the Bournemouth area?
So because of where I live back home, which is all very country and not really anyone around, I enjoy living in Bournemouth because not only do I have neighbors, but also it's just filled with like-minded students. And Bournemouth City town centre, again, like it's really good for a day out. It has the shops you need. Go to Primark, go to game, wherever. It's all there. And the campus as well has a bus service which goes in all directions. So all of the areas outside Bournemouth, so Poole, Westbourne, Southbourne, all of those, also great days
Accessible.
out. Yeah, accessible, and you could just sort of go on a whim, and they're all gorgeous. So you're never really bored, I suppose, living in Bournemouth.
Could you tell us about the Bournemouth nightlife?
Ooh, the nightlife. Very, very lively. I would go as far as to say that there's a night out for every single day of the week. Um, and it's pretty safe as well. Pretty much because just students absolutely swarm the town when it comes to the night. And really good fun. Obviously, if you're into that good thing, it's just amazing atmosphere to be in. And coming into uni, Bournemouth freshers as well, they really ease you into it. There's loads of great events on all the time. So definitely, I would recommend if you like that sort of thing.
What general advice would you give to students about to study there at university?
um, is this for first years or
First
just
years.
first years? Yep. So my biggest thing that I always tell first years is your first year, get to know everyone. Like sky's the limit. The more people you know, the better time you're gonna have. Because if you're a bit more anxious about meeting people or you want to like stay in your dorms, then it can be a bit harder or a bit isolating to move forward because everyone's in the same boat as you. Like no one knows anyone, and there's just so many great people out there. Like even if you don't like it as much, just make an effort to get to know as many people as possible because they can definitely surprise you down the line. And some of the friends you make, you'd never consider in a million years if you back in college. So just know everyone. Just do it.
What advice would you give to students about to study your course at university?
So my course, um, the best thing I can say is just make sure you're passionate about it, because it could be a bit tough at times. And especially, as I said, because we learn a bit of everything, if you stick with it, it really helps in your final year. Um, and also just come to university with a different mindset that you had to college, because college is a lot more jumping through hoops, whereas university is just go for it, essentially. And some of the topics as well, uh, they're very loose. So just come with a creative mindset, um, and well, I say forget everything for you learn from college. Just take everything from college and adapt it for university, essentially, if that makes sense.
And finally, what advice would you give to students about studying at Bournemouth University?
At Bournemouth University,
Bournemouth University.
if the sun's out, go to the beach. But if not, um, just make sure that you're engaging with the course. And what I mean by that is don't be afraid of the campus. Like come in as much as you can. I said it's a really lovely campus. Um, University. Ooh, Bournemouth is quite spread out, especially with some of its dorms. So I'd say again, just try and stay connected to as many people as possible. Like hang out in Subu, go into town.
Networking.
Yeah, network. So because it can be quite isolating if you live in Poole and your campus is
In
in
Talbot.
Talbot. Yeah. So just stay connected with everyone, I guess is the best thing I can say about Bournemouth.
You chose going to university over an apprenticeship. What path do you to make this choice?
I think the experience, definitely. Although apprenticeship is much cheaper, um, university experience is it's life changing, I suppose. Um, like coming in and being by yourself and being in this unfamiliar environment, it's sort of I think it's definitely an experience that some people need. um, and it just gives a whole new sense of, I suppose, who you are, because these people have no idea who you are. They don't know anything about your background, so you could just completely reinvent yourself. And it's just such good fun. Um, and you learn on your own terms, I guess, really. That's the main driving factor.
What was the best university experience you had while studying?
Oh, well, I say that's a hard one, but that's because I have so many to pick from. My best experience. Is this on the course or just in
Whatever,
general?
just in general, your best university experience that you could think of.
Ooh, that's a pretty good one. So one great thing about the uni that I haven't mentioned yet is the societies as well. The societies, you pretty much have room for anyone. There's societies for literally anything. And one society I'm a part of is the ski society. And every year they do a ski trip abroad. And those trips are some of the most fun I've ever had while being at university, because um, they're over a time where you don't have to worry about coursework, like when they're set, and you just go with your friends. There's no leaders or parents or anything. It's just a completely new experience. And if you love skiing, even better. It's just so much fun. And I would say that's one of the, I said, the most fun I've ever had at university, especially those trips.
Okay. What is that smart lad?
Yes. So, over my deferral year that I did take for my placement, because COVID hit, I started to pick up streaming as a way of money making. Uh, and also, it was absolute blast and good fun. And because I've come to uni, as said, you can live on your own terms, work on your own terms. So I have the free time to do streaming on the side while I study. Um, so that is my Twitch handle. I suppose if you're interested.
So at this point, I let students have what I like to call a free for all. You can say what you like about what you want. You can literally say anything. The floor is yours.
Okay, let me think. Let me think. Um,
It can be about anything or anything.
yeah, I've definitely definitely poured my heart out. Let me think. Said that. Uh, ooh,
Could be advice, could be another
yeah.
story, could be something about the course.
Oh, yeah. You find your people, as it were. Um, so, like how I said, just get to know as many people as possible. By the end of it, you will come out with people that you will love forever. Like this is essentially the family you choose. So don't be afraid um, to get stuck in. And by the end of it, the people who you're friends with, the people you know them for a reason. Like you've stuck together throughout all of this. So just hope for that. Like it's gonna happen.
Hey,
Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'm plugged in.
amazing. Thank you.